So you're talking to a woman that you're interested in, but unfortunately she's in a really bad or toxic relationship. And she tells you how unhappy she is, how poorly she's being treated, and just in general how miserable the relationship makes her. And now you want to be that person who's trying to support her through that and seeing if you two can get together. You're there for her when she needs. She comes to you and tells you all her problems. Maybe you guys even are cuddle buddies or have even hooked up at some point. But for some reason, she still doesn't leave that relationship. And when you maybe talk to her about it, she tells you that it's not the right time, or she feels bad about hurting him, or she's just waiting for the perfect moment to make it happen. And I get it. If you've been in this situation, you might be frustrated that she's not leaving or things aren't changing, and you want to know why. And you want to know, how can I make her see that I'm the right guy for her? This guy's a jerk, and get her out of this relationship so she can be with me. Well, today I want to tell you that the first thing you should understand is that you're probably not saving her from a bad relationship. And more than that, she might not be as innocent as you think. Let me explain. So the first thing to understand is if she's in such a bad relationship and she tells you that and she tells you she likes you, why isn't she leaving? And the answer is she doesn't want to, or she's just not ready yet. Regardless, she's saying one thing, but she doesn't actually want to move forward with breaking it off with this person. And she kind of, a lot of times, wants to have her cake and eat it too. Maybe she's not getting the emotional fulfillment from this guy, but she can come to you and you can give her that experience. Or maybe, she wants to be able to do certain activities that she does with you and she can't do with her boyfriend. But for some reason, she still doesn't want to move on. And usually that reason is she's attracted to him. She still likes him. They still have a sexual relationship. They still desire each other. But usually when she says we have a bad relationship in this regard, it's that they don't have the emotional stability or fulfillment that she wants. But she desires him, she's attracted to him, and she doesn't desire you more than him to actually make that move. Because if she did, she would say, okay, great, this guy's awesome. We have the emotional connection, we get along, we really understand each other, and I'm super into him. But she's not, right? So she's getting something from you, but she's not getting the romantic or sexual side of the connection like she gets with her partner. Okay, if she's in a really actually abusive relationship, physically abusive, really emotionally abusive, of course it can be hard to get out of that. Of course it can be terrified to make those moves. But then if she was really coming to you to support and you say, hey, go talk to your friends, go talk to the cops, go talk to your family and get them to help you, hopefully she would be trying to make those moves. And again, if she's not ready yet, the point still stands, she's not moving on. And that's something you need to take to heart. This isn't as clean as you think it is. She's not the only person who's just at fault here and she's in a really bad circumstance. She's actively choosing to not leave a situation and to get fulfillment outside of a relationship, and that is not healthy either. And if you understand that, then you also have to understand that you being the knight in shining armor, the white knight, is not going to suddenly change your mind because she's missing something from you. And usually, again, that sexual connection. If you are just the nice person who's only there for emotional support and being her good friend, that's not going to change. You're never going to give her what she needs. And so you pretending to be just the good friend when clearly you want more, clearly you want to be the romantic person, is also not being honest to her, and it's not going to lead to any sort of fulfillment that either of you want. And so before I give you the advice on what to do now, I just want to make you reflect on why her? Is she truly the best woman for you? Is she the most compatible? Is she the most exciting person you've met? Like, have you actually dated other women? Have you been pursuing them? Have you really explored a lot of options? Because a lot of times when I dig into this with men, it's just they are lonely. They don't really see other people, or they don't take opportunities, or they're putting, again, that woman on a pedestal and ignoring all the red flags and all the faults she's making in her life. And they just kind of fall in love with an idea of her, but they don't actually know the person. And they're not actually coming from a healthy, self-confident place of choosing somebody. They're coming from a desperate, needy place where, again, they're lonely and they're like, I don't want to lose this person just because I've invested so much time and she's perfect. And they're not really seeing things clearly. And in most cases, I gotta call you out that I don't think you're seeing things clearly, because this is a person who is actively staying with somebody who makes them miserable and mistreats them, which says a lot about her and potentially her self-worth and how she views healthy relationships. She's also bad-mouthing her partner to strangers instead of trying to communicate with them or moving on. And worst of all, she's cheating on him, right? Emotional cheating is still cheating, and she's going to another man and maybe telling him how she feels for him and how she'd want him more and how miserable she is. And that's just not healthy and not great. Imagine if you were in his position. Imagine if you found out that your girlfriend was going to another man and saying all these things and talking about how miserable she was and promising herself to somebody in the future. How would you feel? I know a lot of people are like, well, it's just because she's this one circumstance and we have something. But I gotta be honest that, like, in my experience, I'm not saying once a cheater, always a cheater, but once a cheater, way more likely to do it again. If she has no ethical qualms about what she's doing, what's gonna make her change in the future? And what if she gets bored with you or you're not satisfying her in the future? Is she gonna do that again? It's really hard to go into a relationship and have any trust when it starts from that foundation. When you're already starting from a place where she's cheating on her partner and bad-mouthing him and all these things, then how can you ever feel secure that she's not going to do those things in the future? That's the problem. And if you don't have that security, then your relationship is going to be, host to a whole ton of problems where you're always paranoid, you're worried if she's going to look elsewhere, and that's just never going to create a strong, secure dynamic. So in reality, I think you are overlooking a lot. You may be coming from a place of desperation or loneliness or fear of being alone or putting her on a pedestal or whatever, but you're not actually being fair to the situation. So what do you do now? My real answer would be move on. I generally would not date somebody who's doing those kind of behaviors because, again, I could not really trust that they would be a secure, open, healthy partner in the future. Now, the problem is whenever I tell men, maybe you should move on and look elsewhere, they still want to believe there's a chance or it's different or it's special. And in that case, they want some sort of action to do or some sort of closure. And if you really can't let go of this situation, then what I would say is this. The next time you're just like talking to her or hanging out, be straight with her and say, listen, you're not happy with this guy. You say you're miserable. Move on. He's not giving you the relationship you want. If that's really the case, then you should be looking ahead in your life. And you know that obviously I want to get to know you better and I'm excited about that, but I'm not going to, pursue that if you're with somebody. And I don't think that's healthy. And of course I enjoy talking to you and being friends, but most of all, I really want to get to know you personally and on a more romantic level. And see what she says. And if she's making excuses and she's like, I can't, I don't know what I want or whatever, that's fine. You just tell her, hey, listen, I completely understand, but I don't think this is a healthy situation for either of us. And I think we should probably keep some distance until you figure out what you're looking for, because I think it'll be better for both of us. And then you genuinely move on and you start focusing on other people. If she reaches back out and she wants to invest in things, then maybe you can consider it and see where it goes. But you're just going to waste your time sitting around hoping things will change and pretending to be a friend when you know you don't want something more. Now, of course, you could try to flirt with her and get her to change her mind and build attraction. But okay, let's say you guys hook up and then she does cheat on her boyfriend physically on a regular basis and maybe she breaks up with him. Again, is that how you want to start your relationship? You want to start your relationship knowing that she was intentionally cheating on somebody else and then feel great that that's never going to happen to you in the future? I don't think so. I think the best chance of making this happen is laying your cards out, not desperately, not saying I'm in love with you, just telling her, I don't think this is a great situation. I'd like to get to know you better if you're open to that, and then letting her make her own choices. You do not need to save this woman from a relationship. You need to save yourself from wasting time, facing heartbreak, and investing in the wrong people if they're not excited about you. Sometimes the truth is really uncomfortable and really hard to hear, but it's exactly what we need. And if you want more real talks, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and give us a thumbs up, and stay tuned for our next videos.